Today, we're kicking off something a bit different, a focused tutorial series.
That's right. We're zeroing in on, well, one of the toughest but most vital parts of business, professional sales.
And this is really targeted, isn't it? Specifically for those of you in the Masterclass Sales program.
Yes, at the University of Applied Sciences, Stralsund, in Germany. This is meant to, complement what you're already learning.
Complement, reflect on, and really deepen that knowledge you've already picked up in the main lectures there.
Exactly. We're basing this whole series on the tutorial material developed by Professor Heiko Auerbach. It's that foundational working document you're using.
So think of these sessions as maybe intensive study partners, helping you digest and really lock in those core concepts.
That's a good way to put it, translating the theory into, well, practical insights.
Okay, so for this first part, our mission is pretty clear. We need to lay down the basics, define what sales really means strategically, and crucially, introduce the big framework that's going to guide us through this whole series.
Right. And that framework is the DISCO walkthrough. It's a 5-step path.
DISCO. Okay, D-I-S-C-O.
Yep. It's really you could say, the nervous system for modern sales management, thinking beyond just making a sale.
Moving into relationship sustainability, you mean?
Precisely. Long-term thinking.
Now, DISCO, it sounds almost, I don't know, a bit linear, like a neat sequence. But sales feels more chaotic sometimes, doesn't it? People are unpredictable.
It definitely can feel chaotic on the front lines, absolutely. But the DISCO model isn't about dictating the customer's every move. It's about imposing discipline on the sales organization's response.
Ah, okay. So it's about structuring our process, not forcing the customer into a box.
Exactly. It provides that necessary structure, that repeatability. The overall theme, the big goal here, is establishing sustainable and profitable customer relations.
Sustainable and profitable. That's the key phrase. And the material breaks that down further, right? Into managing customers across their life cycle.
It does. It highlights 3 pillars: acquisition, getting new customers; retention, keeping the ones you have happy; and churn management, actively stopping them from leaving.
And DISCO helps manage all 3.
Yes, because it provides that logical sequence: data, intimacy, strategy, commitment, and ongoing activities. See how ongoing closes the loop.
Okay, DISCO. Got it. Data, intimacy, strategy, commitment, ongoing activities. We'll keep that map in mind. But before we walk through each step, let's zoom out. What exactly does a modern sales pro need to know? What's the scope here?
Well, the material actually outlines 5 core learning objectives. And taken together, they really show that sales today is, it's an executive-level discipline.
It's not just about being a smooth talker anymore.
Not at all. You need serious quantitative skills, strategic thinking. It's demanding.
Let's run through those 5 objectives quickly. They frame the whole Stralsund curriculum, really. Number 1 is the foundation, sales fundamentals.
Yep. Understanding the whole process, end to end, mapping out that customer journey, and knowing where sales actually fits in the bigger picture of company growth.
Okay, basic building blocks. Then number 2 gets analytical, metrics and KPIs.
Right. This is where you need to get comfortable with numbers. It's about proficiency, identifying the right metrics, understanding what they mean, and crucially, using them.
Using them to track performance, make decisions.
Data-driven decisions, exactly. If you can't measure your sales funnel, you've got no real way to optimize it. It's just guesswork.
And when we say KPIs, key performance indicators, we're talking more than just total revenue, right? What specifics are crucial?
Oh, absolutely. You need to live and breathe ratios, efficiency metrics, things like customer acquisition costs. How much does it actually cost us to land one new customer?
Okay, CC. Makes sense.
Then you have to balance that against customer lifetime value, or LTV. That's the total profit you expect to make from that entire customer relationship over time.
So how much they cost versus how much they're worth.
Exactly. And the LTV to CAC ratio, that's often the single most critical indicator of whether your sales model is actually sustainable long-term.
LTV.CAC. Got it. What else?
Well, conversion rates are huge. What percentage of leads move from one stage of your funnel to the next? And for retention, which is critical, you need to track your churn rate. How many customers are you losing each month or year?
Okay, so Objective 2 demands a pretty strong head for numbers, for analysis. Then Objective 3 takes a sharp turn, doesn't it? From spreadsheets to psychology. Buyer psychology and customer behavior.
It really does. And this is where sales becomes more than just, commerce. It's about digging into motivations, preferences, how people actually make decisions.
You're becoming a bit of a psychologist.
In a practical sense, yes. Why do people buy this solution and not that one? Why do they hesitate? Understanding things like cognitive biases.
Like anchoring, where the first price someone hears sticks in their head.
Exactly like anchoring or loss aversion. If you understand those, you can tailor your whole approach, not just your pitch. The why gives context to what you see in the data from Objective 2.
Makes sense. Data tells you what happened. Psychology helps explain why. Okay. Objective 4 is the practical application. Effective communication and sales techniques.
This is the skill set part. Mastering persuasive language, active listening, and I mean really listening, not just waiting to talk. Consultative selling, handling objections professionally.
Let's pause on consultative selling. The material really emphasizes that, doesn't it?
It does. It's this philosophy of diagnosing the customer's problem before you even think about prescribing your solution.
So less aggressive product pushing.
Much less. More like being a trusted advisor, asking really good, deep questions to uncover the real business challenge, then and only then offering a solution that genuinely fits.
Okay. And the final objective, number 5, kind of grounds everything. Ethical selling practices.
Absolutely crucial. Honesty, transparency, putting the customer first. That's the only way you build the kind of long-term trust and loyalty the course is aiming for. Anything else is just short-term gain.
So, looking at all 5, the modern sales pro needs to be part financial analyst, part psychologist, part expert communicator.
And part strategist. It's a truly multifaceted role.
And all this complexity, all these skills, they all ultimately serve one fundamental business reality, right? The financial imperative.
They have to. At the end of the day, any business needs to make sure that single equation works. Revenue minus costs equals profit.
And sales is the engine driving the revenue part of that.
Directly. Sales and distribution functions are the primary revenue generators. Every other department, finance, production, HR, you name it, they rely on sales, bringing in the money needed to cover their costs and hopefully leave a profit.
So sales translates the value the company offers, its products, its services, its customer solutions, into actual measurable income.
That's the core function. But the formal definition of sales, as the material lays it out, is broader. It's the whole process of exchange.
Right, involving persuasion, identifying prospects.
Understanding their specific needs, presenting solutions that fit, and then, yes, closing the deal.
So if we unpack that, the key characteristics are that it's strategic, it's dynamic.
It requires really effective communication, sharp negotiation, building genuine relationships, and constantly gathering market insights. It's the bridge between what the company can do and what the market actually needs. The strategic role of the sales force in an organization.
Okay, we've defined it. Now, why is the sales team so indispensable? The material gives, what, 8 core reasons?
8 primary functions, yeah. And they show that the sales team's value goes way beyond just hitting a monthly quota, their strategic linchpin.
Let's walk through them. Function 1 is the obvious one, primary revenue generation.
Right. Finding prospects, turning them into customers, bringing in the money, directly contributing to the bottom line.
But is that just about finding new customers? Or growing existing ones, too?
It's definitely both, and good sales teams track both very carefully. We often talk about hunting for new logos, new customers,
Bringing in fresh revenue.
and farming existing accounts, growing those relationships, finding expansion opportunities. Both are vital, but hunting is often that high-pressure engine needed for long-term growth, expanding the customer base.
Okay, function 2 moves beyond just money. The face of the company.
Huge responsibility. Sales reps are the company in the eyes of the customer. Every interaction matters. A positive one builds satisfaction, goodwill.
Which feeds back into function 1, right? Repeat business, referrals.
Exactly. They're frontline PR, essentially.
Function 3, product service expertise. They need to know their stuff inside out.
Absolutely. Not just reciting features from a brochure, they need deep understanding to translate those features into tangible benefits that solve the customer's specific problem. This is what makes consultative selling possible.
Makes sense. Now, function 4. This one feels really strategic, maybe even underappreciated sometimes. Market insights and feedback.
Oh, massively important and often overlooked, like you said. Sales teams are your eyes and ears on the ground.
They're hearing directly from customers.
Unfiltered feedback. Pain points, what competitors are doing, how buying patterns are shifting. This intelligence, this raw data from the market is invaluable.
And it needs to be fed back systematically to R&D, marketing.
Yes. If that feedback loop is broken, the company risks developing products nobody wants or marketing messages that fall flat. It keeps the whole organization aligned with the market reality. Sales becomes a strategic partner in product strategy here.
Wow, okay. Function 5, customer education and training,
Yeah, just selling a thing often isn't enough. Good sales reps show customers the value, guide them on how to actually use the product or service effectively.
which probably helps with adoption and reduces problems later on.
Exactly. It's an investment in customer success and long-term retention, reduces friction after the sale.
Function 6 is about execution, achieving mutually beneficial agreements.
Key phrase there is mutually beneficial. It's not just about closing a deal at any cost. It's about crafting agreements where the customer gets real value and the company gets a healthy profit margin.
The win-win scenario.
Wow.
Avoids buyer's remorse or early churn.
Precisely. Then function 7 highlights their role in internal planning, input for forecasting and planning.
How so?
Well, the sales team provides the data-realistic pipeline estimates, conversion probabilities, market potential that the entire company needs for planning.
So finance needs it for budgeting, operations for inventory.
Marketing for campaign spend, HR for hiring plans. Without reasonably accurate sales forecasts, the whole organizational planning process falls apart. You can't allocate resources effectively.
So they're key to the company's overall capital efficiency.
Directly responsible for it in many ways. And finally, Function 8 just kind of reinforces the core goals again, successful deal closure and revenue growth.
Right. So summing it all up, the sales force drives revenue, finds and keeps customers, builds relationships, and crucially, gathers market intelligence for long-term profit and survival.
They really are the financial guardians and strategic sensors of the business.
Okay, we've got the why. Now let's look at the how, the internal machinery. The material draws a clear line between frontline and back-office sales roles.
Yeah, that division of labor is pretty standard and really important for efficiency. Frontline sales, that's your field sales team, the customer-facing folks.
They're the ones out there building relationships, negotiating, closing deals.
Exactly. Their world is direct interaction. They need strong interpersonal skills, resilience, adaptability. They are the brand ambassadors, the hunters, the relationship managers we talked about. Active listening is paramount for them.
And then there's a back-office sales team. What's their focus?
Their focus is more internal, administrative, sales support. Inside sales sometimes falls here. They handle the essential but often time-consuming tasks that would pull the frontline rep away from actually selling.
Like processing orders, managing CRM data.
Compliance checks, generating complex quotes, contract management, coordinating logistics, maybe. They make the engine run smoothly behind the scenes.
So the back office uses tools, technology, maybe data analysis to streamline everything.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
They free up the frontline team, who are often highly compensated to spend the maximum possible time on direct, high-value customer interactions, maybe aiming for that 80-20 split.
Can you give a quick example? Where does that back office support really shine?
Sure. Imagine a complex international deal. The frontline rep is focused on the negotiation, the relationship, understanding the client's needs across different countries.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the back office team is building the custom pricing model, checking stock availability in different regions, making sure the contract wording meets all the local legal requirements, and then getting all that data accurately into the CRM system once it's signed.
So the frontline rep wins the deal.
And the back office makes sure the deal is actually profitable and deliverable. It's a true partnership. They enable each other.
That internal collaboration is key. But it also needs to extend outside the sales department, right? The material points to a critical trinity: sales, marketing, and IT.
Oh, absolutely non-negotiable in today's world. Sales and marketing, they're natural allies, or should be. Marketing builds awareness, generates interest, fills the top of the funnel with leads.
Through content, campaigns, branding.
Right. Then sales engages those warmer leads, qualifies them further, and guides them through the final decision-making process.
And the effectiveness really hinges on that feedback loop we mentioned earlier.
Critically, sales needs to constantly feedback what they're hearing on the ground. What objections keep coming up, what messaging resonates, what competitive tactics are working.
And marketing takes that intel.
And uses it to refine campaigns, create better sale enablement materials, adjust targeting. It makes the whole process smarter and more efficient over time, better leads for sales, better results overall.
And gluing all this together is IT. Their role seems much bigger than just keeping the servers running.
Much bigger. IT provides and manages the essential tech infrastructure, the CRM system, that's the heart of it, marketing automation tools, data analytics platform.
Tools that allow sales and marketing to actually collaborate effectively.
Yes, and crucially, IT facilitates the integration of these systems. So when marketing identifies a hot lead based on their online behavior, that information, the score, the specific actions they took, instantly appears in the sales rep's CRM view.
Ah, so the sales rep isn't flying blind. They have context for the conversation.
Exactly. They have a 360-degree view of that prospect's journey so far. It allows for much more personalized, relevant, and timely outreach. No more generic cold calls.
So when sales acts on marketing's insights, marketing refines based on sales feedback, and IT provides the integrated plumbing.
You get a much more unified, seamless customer experience. And the whole organization starts making smarter, data-driven decisions instead of operating in silos, which again drives that profitability we keep coming back to.
Okay, let's pivot now to the main event for this series, Auerbach's disco walkthrough. You said it's the central nervous system, the five-stage model guiding everything.
That's right, DISCO. It provides that logical structure for managing the whole client lifecycle, connecting the why, the strategy, with the how, the execution.
And it starts with DHA. D is for data.
Data, the analytical foundation. You have to start with the objective facts.
What does that mean in practice? What kind of data collection are we talking about?
It means systematically gathering relevant information, both internal, like your past sales figures, profit margins by customer type, funnel conversion rates, churn data from your CRM,
Stuff you already have.
hopefully, and external data too, market trends, what your competitors are up to, broader economic factors, any relevant regulations.
So in this stage, the sales professional needs to wear an analyst hat, define the right KPIs for their goals.
Analyze the numbers, understand the context of the market, and draw some initial objective conclusions. Where are the opportunities? Where are the potential problems? Based purely on the facts.
But there's a danger in just looking at data, right?
Yep.
Numbers don't tell the whole story.
Exactly. That's the crucial insight. Data might show you what is happening, say, sales in a segment are dropping, but it rarely tells you why. And that's why the model immediately pushes you to the next stage. I, for intimacy.
Intimacy, moving from the quantitative to the qualitative, from the spreadsheet to the person.
Precisely. This is about gaining a deep qualitative understanding. Customer behavior, the dynamics within target groups, the motivations of specific individuals you're talking to.
And this isn't data you can just download. How do you get this intimacy?
Through interaction, mainly. Conducting in-depth interviews, maybe focus groups, careful observation of behavior, really practicing that active listening during sales calls to pick up on nuances. Sometimes even ethnographic approaches, really immersing yourself in the customer's world.
So, back to the example. Data, D, shows segment X has high churn. Intimacy might reveal it's because your onboarding is confusing them, or maybe their internal priorities shifted and your solution isn't top of mind anymore.
Exactly. Intimacy uncovers the hidden needs, the emotions driving decisions, the preferred communication styles, the unstated fears or assumptions that the raw numbers just can't capture. This is where real trust starts to build.
Okay, so you've got the hard facts from data and the deep human understanding from intimacy. Now you combine them for S, strategies.
Strategy is where you plan your attack, so to speak. Based on everything you learned in D&I, you develop a specific sales strategy. How are we going to approach this segment or this particular customer?
And it needs to align with the customer journey.
Absolutely. You map out your tactics along the different stages of their buying process: awareness, consideration, decision. Who is the ideal person to target within the organization? What's the core message that will resonate given their data profile and their intimate needs? What resources do we need?
So the strategy prevents generic, one-size-fits-all approaches.
It should. If intimacy told you a key decision maker is very risk-averse, your strategy S needs to lean heavily on guarantees, case studies, social proof, maybe a phased rollout. Even if the data D suggests a faster, bolder approach might seem more efficient on paper, you tailor it.
Makes sense. Strategy sets the plan. Then comes C, commitment. This sounds like the action phase.
It is. This is where the rubber meets the road. Commitment is all about actually securing the customer's agreement. This involves professional sales presentations, skillfully handling any objections that come up, negotiating the final terms, and basically ensuring every interaction builds confidence and moves the process forward. Those communication and negotiation skills from Objective 4 are critical here.
In handling objections, it's not about arguing, is it?
No, not at all. It's about understanding the root of the objection. Is it price, timing, features, trust? and addressing it using the insights you gained from data and intimacy framed by your strategy. It's about alleviating their concerns, not winning a debate.
Okay, commitment gets the deal done, achieves that immediate revenue goal. But Disco doesn't stop there. The final stage is O, ongoing activities.
Right. This forces that crucial long-term perspective. The sale isn't the end, it's the transition point. Now you focus on nurturing and growing that relationship.
Strengthening it over time.
Exactly. Through effective customer relationship management, regular check-ins, support, making sure they're getting value, and looking for opportunities for upselling.
Selling them a better, more premium version later on.
Or cross-selling, offering complementary products or services that add more value. And crucially, it includes proactive churn management, watching for warning signs of unhappiness and stepping in before they think about leaving.
So the O stage directly feeds back into the goals of retention and increasing that customer lifetime value we talked about earlier.
Precisely. And the data you gather from these ongoing activities, how they're using the product, what support tickets they raise, their satisfaction levels, that data becomes input for the next cycle, starting back at D for data.
Ah, so it really is a continuous loop. Analyze, understand, plan, execute, nurture, and repeat.
That's the power of the DISCO walkthrough. It's a holistic, iterative model for building sustainable, profitable customer relationships.
Wow, okay. That gives us a really solid foundation. We've defined sales not just as a transaction, but as a strategic function. We've broken down those 8 key roles of the sales force.
Talked about the crucial teamwork needed between sales, marketing, and IT.
And we've done our first walkthrough of Professor Auerbach's DISCO model. Data, intimacy, strategy, commitment, and ongoing activities.
Now, before we wrap up part 1, there's something really important we need to stress, especially for the students listening from Hochschulstralsund.
Right, the disclaimer.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's crucial for you to understand. These deep dives, these tutorials, they are not a replacement for the actual lectures given by Professor Auerbach.
Absolutely not. They're designed purely to complement those lectures.
To help you reflect more deeply, maybe reinforce some of the key concepts from the lecture hall and the official working materials, think of them as extra study support.
But the lectures are the primary source. These are just supplementary.
Exactly.
So if you did find this deep dive helpful, if this kind of intensive reflection on the material works for you,
And we'd really encourage you, please, like this tutorial or follow the channel, whatever platform you're on.
why is that important?
Because that signal, that feedback from you is essential for us. It tells us there's real interest in continuing this series. It helps us prioritize creating the next deep dives, focusing on each element of DISCO, the D, the I, the S, C, and O in much more detail.
Right when you'll likely be covering them in class, hopefully making it super relevant for your studies.
That's the goal.
Okay, so final thought to leave everyone with. We started way back with that simple profit equation. Revenue minus costs equals profit. How does this DISCO model, particularly that jump from data to intimacy, change the salesperson's role in achieving that profit?
That's a great closing question. Think about that transition from D to I. It forces the sales professional to evolve. You can't just be a number cruncher or transaction processor anymore.
You have to understand people.
Deeply. You have to understand human behavior, motivations, fears, aspirations. When a sales team successfully merges that hard data analysis with genuine psychological insight,
They become more than just vendors.
they become strategic advisors, consultants really, both to their customers, helping them solve real problems and, importantly, back to their own company, informing product development and strategy. They're not just facilitating transactions, they're actively co-creating sustainable value.
Moving from transaction facilitator to strategic partner. That's the real mastery.
That's the journey. And we'll explore it further as we dive deeper into each letter of DISCO in the next tutorials.